Space Coast Daily. We are here with a special treat for you here today where we get to talk with our representative, Mike Haridopolos, who is up in DC right now. And Mike, welcome in here today. And we look forward to having normal chats like this, kind of get an update of what's going on up in DC as you represent the Space Coast area. And welcome in. And how are things up in DC?
Well, things are going well. We are progressing, and we're going to do everything we can to continue to drive down costs. That's the biggest issue of the day. Of course, we had amazing results this year with space, lagoon funding, and of course, reducing taxes. But we still need to do everything we can to drive down costs, especially on gasoline, as we face this very challenging time in Iran.
I understand that you got a chance to be the Artemis II astronauts as well. What a treat that was for you. Talk a little bit about that and how were they? How are they feeling? And are they ready to go back up again?
Well, it was just an incredible mission, as you know, that 10-day mission. Just seeing America leading once again in space. I was able to meet with all four astronauts, Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, and they're just good people. I mean, just being around, you can't help but be excited about the future of the United States. I mean, the astronauts are the best of the best, and they were so gregarious and fun and just patient too, because everybody wanted a picture with the astronauts after their amazing trip around the moon for the first time since 1972. And I had the incredible opportunity, as you know, Zach, to actually talk with them on the phone during that historic mission, to sort of see them in person and just congratulate them for a job well done. And of course, the job well done by all of NASA as we are leading this space race once again. And we're going to do our best to get back to the moon, land on the moon for the first time since 1972 in 2028.
Well, just as a quick promo for us, right now we have the commercial resupply mission that's getting ready to go up here at about 6:50, less than 2 hours. And we're going to air that live on Space Coast Daily and all the great rocket launches that are planned for this year. So what's next is Artemis 3. Talk a little bit about that and what were they looking to accomplish in Artemis 2 and were they looking to accomplish in the future missions for the Artemis missions?
Well, as you know, the Artemis is a very, let's just say, complex rocket. It has been put together, and they did everything right. Not only did they have perfect liftoff and, of course, landing 10 days later, but the idea was to make sure we are learning everything we need to know to keep those astronauts safe and prepare for eventual landing on the moon. So Artemis 2 met all of its bookmarks. We are on pace. We're going to try to increase that pace because we, just like with the Apollo program, we want to make sure we've worked out any difficulties before we potentially land back on the moon. And so with Artemis 3, the next step, Zach, is the idea where we're going to put those landers up there as well, get them prepared, make sure the docking works correctly. And that's our goal. As you know, SpaceX and Blue Origin are producing those landers as we speak. And we want to do as many dry runs as possible before we make that move. And again, unlike the moon landings in the late 60s, early 70s, we're going to build a moon colony eventually to make our way to Mars, but more specifically to really try to do all we can on the moon to attract things like helium-3, which reduce the cost and, of course, the radioactivity for nuclear energy. And we're also looking to see how we utilize the water found in the moon, which is found at, of course, the south pole of the moon. And of course, finally, we want to beat the Chinese to the moon. So we're very confident that we can get this done. And with all the success of Artemis 2, we have great hopes for Artemis 3 and 4 and moving our way to a successful mission in just years to come.
Speaking of China, President Trump is over in China right now with an army, a team to be able to go over there and kind of negotiate some trade deals over there. And talk a little bit about that. What do you think President Trump is going to try to get accomplished while he's over in China, and what the whole point of the meeting is, the summit they're calling it?
Sure. Well, I think more than anything else, we want to look at the idea of truly fair trade. And you can't have fair trade unless you have a level playing field. And that's our goal. I mean, we believe in free trade, but the Chinese just haven't been playing by the rules for years, whether it be environmental rules, labor rules, unfortunately, even stealing our technology. We're going to China and say, look, we're willing to play on a level playing field. And once you do that, we believe in free trade. But until then, we're going to penalize. I mean, we're going to put tariffs on China until they play by the rules. And I think that's vital. The second thing, of course, is what we're dealing with at Iran. We have the Gulf of Hormuz issue right now, but most of that oil is going to places like China, India, Japan. And so it's in their best interest to basically sell Iran, hey, look, we need to open up the Strait of Hormuz for everyone's good. And the Strait of Hormuz is just a classic example where we need freedom of the seas, because this is just one of probably 12 major sea lanes in the entire world. And if we don't solve this problem at the Strait of Hormuz, you can have other problems breaking out in other parts of the world, whether it be the Panama Canal, Suez Canal, other parts, especially in the Pacific area. And so we're telling the Iranians, this is not your ocean. This is the world's ocean. And if you don't play by the rules, we're going to continue to bombard you with either weapons of war, or we're not going to allow you to trade with anyone else. And so the Chinese have it in their best interest to open up this strait, and they need to tell their ally, I guess, the Iranians, that it's time to open up the strait.
Mike, final thing here. A little bit of solemn news was the news that you broke that Bill Posey passed away this past week, and I know he's a great friend of yours, and impacted so many people here in Brevard County for all his great service he did for Brevard County over the years. So I just want to give you this moment to kind of speak to the people and how much Bill Posey meant to you, and what a loss that was.
Well, to put it in the most basic way, it's just heartbreaking. I got the terrible call Thursday night that he had a medical incident, and we did everything we could to save him. It was just a very difficult situation. I spoke with the family, and we were all there at the hospital Thursday. Did everything they could. I really commend Holmes for doing everything they could. His Katie, his beautiful wife, for over 50 years, was there. Of course, the kids, just to see Bill, and that it was just tragic. We can't thank Bill enough for his service to our not only our state but our country. Katie as well. I mean, she was always by his side, and he was a person who went to Washington, but it never changed him. He was a person who looked out for the community first. He stayed true to his principles in his 16 years in Congress, and of course his tenure in the state legislature before that. And he was a clear mentor of mine and a trusted friend. All my kids knew him, and just a wonderful person. And he will be sorely missed for not only what he did, of course, for our community, but he'll be sorely missed as just a great friend. And he was a person who's truly committed to his family first. The highlight I can give you of this is that the weekend before, his granddaughter Katie actually got married down in Miami, and Katie was telling me, his wife, that there was just a special ceremony. All the family was together, and it's just a huge loss for our country to lose someone like Bill, who was really enjoying his post-congressional time. And I will never forget him. And I know that our community will never forget him for all the sacrifice he made to serve our community. He always put country first. He always put family first. And he is the kind of person who we need in politics, a person who's principled, who's honest, forthright, and just a person who loved America. And I appreciate all the coverage that Space Coast Daily has given to this his life, and recognizing the tremendous sacrifice that he and his family made over the past 30 years in public service.
I couldn't say it any better myself, Mike. And one of the things I'll tell you, one of the things we always appreciate at Space Coast Daily is we do these football games every Friday night, and then these sporting events. And Stephen Orville, they got a great connection with him, and they're friends dating back over 30 years.
Hmm.
And Bill would always message during the broadcast of the football games that we were doing that he was watching up in DC and fighting for Brevard County, and he was always watching. He liked watching the football games, and he'd always tap in and let us know that he was watching. And it was one of the cool things that not a lot of people would do that,
Hmm.
and a lot of people have family, friends, and they're doing their own life and everything, but be able to take time and just tap in and say, "Hey, I'm watching." It was always really cool for Bill. And I think back to the interview that you did when you had the Mike Haridopolos show going there and you got a chance to interview Jeff Bodine, NASCAR driver, and we got to do some really cool things and some cool shows together. And I remember Bill, and he was always a great
Hmm.
interview, and was like just a friend. He was really down to earth. You could approach him and ask anything, and I really appreciated that about Bill. And my heartfelt condolences go out to his wife Katie and his children, Kathy and Pamela. And
Hmm.
um, it's puts life in perspective on things and how quick things can change pretty quick. And yeah, again, we love you, Bill, and thanks, Mike. We appreciate it, and great interview, and we appreciate everything you're doing for Brevard County, and look forward to talking with you maybe next week or sometime soon. Okay.
That'd be great, Zach. Thanks again for that. And as you put it best, his heart was always in Brevard, even when he's in Washington, D.C. And he loved his family and his country. And he also loved, as you said perfectly in our from our Jeff Bodine interview, he loved cars. And I
You
know
did.
he's working on them out in his retirement years. So keep up the great coverage. We're gonna actually be talking about this, his life later tonight on the floor of the House. And in June, we're going to do a longer ceremony to recognize his incredible public service. So have a great week, Zach, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Take it easy.